but we're finally back. Cold snap subsided, so it's like in the 40s and 50s this weekend. So the venting for our compostable toilet. So we're gonna basically hide that inside our pantry. That's gonna be, this is where the fridge will be on top of this, and then there'll be a door here. So we'll have it hidden here. So basically the hose from the compostable toilet will go to a connector or adapter here, which will get strapped in, and then when we need to disconnect the toilet for cleaning, you just pull the hose out of that end, and then this other end will go down. We'll basically attach to this hose, which will go down to the floor here. The wires coming out there are for the little fan that sits in there to help vent it. Well, some people were having the issues of when they were installing this, that they were attaching the shroud to their floor and then venting out to the underneath of the bus. What people were neglecting to consider was the layers of flooring. So we have a subfloor, and then we have an air gap, and then we have reflectix, and we have furring strips, and then the metal floor of the bus, and then goes outside. So the air they were venting was actually seeping between the layers, so they're getting smell. To prevent that, basically, we had a couple ideas, PVC, just going PVC through the floor, but it was like, how do we get that to a nice seal with the shroud here? So this is a basic toilet flange. The cool thing about this is that, number one, it's got this rubber seal, which comes off, and we're gonna use that to hold our bug screen in place so no bugs get back up. It's all solid one piece, so this we'll drill the hole and drop this side through. So the flange part will sit on top here. Obviously it'll be flush with the subfloor. And then the shroud has a rubber gasket which actually fits above it. Fits pretty perfectly around there, and that will seal that. So when this all gets connected to the floor, it's pretty much gonna look like this. Alright, so there should be no way for gases to get out. Now the important thing we have to do though before we start doing this is make sure that we have clearance. We had to patch some rusted spots in front of the wheel well over here, so we're definitely clearing that. That comes up to this support beam here. But then if you look under your bus, it's probably similar to our bus. There are a bunch of ribs going across for across the chassis for this, to act as the support structure. So we want to make sure we're not hitting any of those. So this is my guesstimate based on kind of lining up some of the bolts from the outside and underneath the bus. A lot of double checking. So this should land us in between the two support ribs on the underside of the bus, which are about here and here, and it gives us enough clearance for this flange part to seat nicely against the subfloor. So 3-inch hole saw, and then we're through. So I pre-drilled the pilot holes for the flange. Now I'm just putting on a bead, a nice thick bead of sealant. So because there's a little bit of a lip there, if you can see, so this is top of the part of the flange. It won't actually sit flush with the floor unless I'm countersinking it, but I'm just going to use this bead, put a nice seal, and that's going to give it a good grip. And like turn the lights up. That's going to give it a nice grip and hold, while also making sure we're in place. Before we drop our other screws to fasten it, and then from the bottom side, I'll also put another bead of sealant in there around the bottom part of the flange and the bottom of the bus. This is a nice weather-tight seal. So what I'm using, I'm just using some number 14, 1-inch number 14s. So that's basically a core sample of our bus. That's the subfloor, that's the reflectix, and then that's the sheet metal. So with the actual toilet flange, the screw should pretty much end up just at the bottom of the plywood subfloor. So we should be good to go. can see, the flange is nice and secure. We've got the bead on the top and the bottom, as well as these 4 screws. So that's going nowhere. Now I basically marked out the holes in the shroud. So I pre-drilled those because these are plastic and I don't want to crack them. So now I've got the screws piloted. I've got the rubber seal on. Got to make sure to put the fan in. So of course you want to test your fan and make sure you've got it in the right way. But it should be label side down so that the air current goes this way. So it goes like this. So I'm situating the fan. The fan's it's got its own rubber gasket around it, so the wires will go in between the screws. That way the seal, this gasket here, will form around those 2 small wires. So if you noticed earlier, these wires, they were just open. You can connect the fan directly to your power source. For right now, I just spliced it with the AC adapter that comes with it, and we're gonna plug it in for now, just so we have it going. Yeah, screwed the shroud into the flange. Just a little tip. This is soft plastic in the shroud, so if you overdo it, based on whatever torque you have going, mine's not adjustable. You could pretty much just bore right through and crack it. So just a little tip, when the screw starts to get snug with the flange, you'll see, Angelique, if you want to get it close up, you'll see the rubber seal, the gasket starts to bow out a little bit. If you go a little, see how it kind of deforms? So it's putting more pressure here, which is squeezing more of it out. So you know that's a nice, good seal. So all that's left to do now is plug it in, and you can, if you bring the microphone over here, you can probably hear the fan. There you go. So then this gets adapter gets screwed on this end. This will get attached to the frames, and then whenever we need to, and once the toilet's secure, it's not going to go anywhere. We have such a short run there, but basically, there you go. That's how that's going to get sealed in. So we're back under the bus now. You can see the fan from the other end going up the little pipe there, and then this screen will serve as a temporary screen to keep any critters out for now.
Yeah, please note, as we said, you'll want definitely a much finer bug screen for your final screen, so
yeah,
but for now.
This is a for now solution. There you go. Ain't nothing getting up there.
It's gonna smell like farts under here.